Alrighty, hello everyone. My name is Noor Saraki, and I'd like to welcome you to the second installment of our online Shoreline Symposium. This event is brought to you in partnership between the BCK CISMA, the Stewardship Network, and the Southwest by Southwest Corner CISMA. CISMAs, or Cooperative Invasive Species Management Areas, exist throughout the state to help landowners and managers better address invasive species issues. Fallon manages the BCK CISMA, which covers Berry, Calhoun, and Kalamazoo counties, and I manage the Southwest by Southwest Corner CISMA, covering Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties. If you're in one of those 6 counties, great, we'd love to talk to you, but otherwise there is a CISMA serving your area, and we can send you more information on that. We're lucky to also be partnering in this new format with the Stewardship Network, a fantastic organization that's based out of Ann Arbor here in Michigan to help with the tech. The BCK CISMA and the Southwest by Southwest Corner CISMA work together to bring in speakers and stakeholders to better understand lake topics and how we can work together to protect them in 2019 with the original Shoreline Symposium. And so we're excited to be able to kind of extend this program and diversify it by bringing it online and making it available to a larger stakeholder group of riparians, lake lovers, anglers, and paddlers to better help protect our lakes. If you are registered for this event, you're also registered for the next 2 presentations in the series on the next 2 Mondays in February, the 15th and the 22nd, and we hope to see you there. Lastly, a recording of this is going to be available on the Stewardship Network's YouTube channel, so feel free to share that with your fellow riparians or look back on it for more information later. Just a couple bits of housekeeping. Please feel free to introduce yourself and your lake in the chat, and then put your questions into the Q&A feature, which is available at the bottom of the screen, just so we can keep track of them for a questions section at the end. With that, I would like to introduce MLSA DeSimone. Melissa's a lake resident and president of the Michigan Lakes and Streams Association. Michigan Lakes and Streams is a nonprofit statewide organization dedicated to the preservation, protection, and wise management of Michigan's vast treasure of inland lakes and streams. They are a huge partner in protecting our waters, and I'm really glad that I've gotten to work with Melissa as a resident here in Van Buren County. I'm really excited to hear more about lake health and monitoring from here today. With that, take it away.
All right, thank you very much for that introduction. Hello, everyone. I am Melissa DeSimone. I'm the Executive Director of Michigan Lakes and Streams Association, and we are going to talk today about lake health and monitoring, and I'm going to share my slides with you. All right, there we are. Okay, so I want to first of all thank the BCK and Southwest by Southwest CISMAs and the Stewardship Network for having me today. This is a passion of mine as well as my organization, and so we're really excited about this Shoreline Symposium and being a part of it, especially being from the area of these CISMAs. As Nora said, I do come from both the Southwest by Southwest CISMA and the BCK CISMA. I'm on a lake in the Southwest by Southwest area, and then I'm on the steering committee for the BCK CISMA as well. So happy to be here. So a little bit about me. I used to be a middle school science teacher, so I have always had a passion for environmental issues and protecting the earth, especially water. I got involved in lakes and monitoring with Gravel Lake in Lawton, Michigan, which is in Van Buren County in the Southwest by Southwest region there. And I'm on the board of that lake association and started getting myself involved in some volunteer work with Michigan Lakes and Streams Association. Just a little bit about MLSA. We've been around since 1961. We are generally an organization of associations, both lake and stream groups, who are working toward the protection and preservation of waters. So the role of our organization, our mission, is to support associations with educational opportunities, resources like books and pamphlets, and then even individualized assistance for associations. You can visit our website, mymlsa.org, and I'm hoping that I will be able to share this, this presentation with you. I tried to put it in the chat, but it doesn't look like I can share files. So I will definitely make sure that we get the presentation out to everyone at some point, even if it's after the fact. All right. So if you are here, I am assuming that you have an interest in a lake of some sort. Either you're a resident, part of an association. I may already know you. You may already come to these meetings. But if you don't, just a little bit about lake organizations and why that's a good place to start if you're concerned about the health of your lake and doing monitoring. Associations and lake boards are a really great way to get the people who own waterfront property and who have an interest in the water together to make sure that you protect it in a cohesive way. And so some of the things, some of the tools that you can use to help protect your water, you can create a special assessment district, and that would be a way to collect funds in order to accomplish projects on your lake that would be to the benefit of the water. You can create a water quality committee that is within your association. So an association is great, it gets everybody together, there's an organized structure, and then taking that one step further would be to have a core group of people whose sole focus is the water quality. And so that would be people who are going to look at water quality data, people who are familiar with the lake management plan if there is one. And this water quality committee can be part of a lake association. If you have a lake board, that's more of an official capacity. A lake board is going to be able to take the funds from the special assessment district, and they use those very strategically in order to accomplish your water quality goals. So it depends upon how you're set up. And this is one of the things that we can help you with, deciding what you want to do and how your group should go about making those decisions. One of the very common things that people do is they hire lake management companies. We do have some members of MLSA who are lake management companies. There's plenty of them out there that go about the business of managing lakes. So you can have a lake manager. You can have a lake manager who is the same or separate from your applicator. A lot of times what we're really talking about here is the management of aquatic invasive species. And if that's the case, then an applicator is likely going to be applying herbicide or something to control those aquatic invasive species. It doesn't have to be an herbicide treatment. There is a growing number of lakes who are concerned about using herbicides, and they are interested in other applications like DASH, which stands for diver assisted suction harvesting, which is a way to remove invasive species, and some other non-herbicide options. There are some out there, just not as common as the herbicides. So like I said, MLSA, we can provide assistance to you if you need help figuring out a way to organize yourself. We also have regional meetings with lake groups. And in this area, in the Southwest by Southwest and BCK area, we have a very long-standing region meeting. And the next meeting for that group is going to be May 8th. I believe it will be virtual at this point because so many things are virtual, but I'm not sure. You can check our website as you get closer to find out if that will be something that is virtual or in person, but it would be at 9:30 on Saturday, May 8th. And that group meets at least twice a year, sometimes a third time for a seminar as well. Very active group, very supportive, and lots of ideas and a good group to get involved with. There's also some educational materials we have that might help you. If you notice, I do have some hyperlinks on this presentation, and when you take a look at this later, if you click on the special assessment districts, that will take you to a brochure that we have about setting up a special assessment district and how that works, and some resources on our website. We have a monthly newsletter that's free to sign up for, that we have updates in, a quarterly magazine, books and brochures, things that might help you make some decisions about what type of organization will work for you, or how you can adapt your organization to have these goals in mind, the water quality goals. All right, when you are working with your group on water quality, you are going to need some data to be able to make some decisions, or at least to have a feel for the focus of your water quality maybe management program or a plan. And so that is where a program like MyCore comes into play. MyCore stands for Michigan Clean Water Corps, and MLSA has been a part of this group since its inception. MyCore has been around for a long time. We did have a year of a gap year. There was no funding in 2020 due to the vetoes. A lot of political pieces that go into that, but we do have funding now. We have a 5-year contract, and you can see along the bottom of the slide the partners who are involved in the Michigan Clean Water Corps. Basically, the owner of the program is Eagle, formerly known as DEQ, now the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. We also work with Michigan State University. They hold they're our major program operator. And then the Huron River Watershed Council concentrates on a lot of the stream work, and Michigan Lakes and Streams Association. We are helpful with the Cooperative Lakes Monitoring Program. So there are 3 pillars to the MyCore program: the Volunteer Stream Monitoring Program, the Volunteer Stream Cleanup Program, and the Cooperative Lakes Monitoring Program. And this is a really great way for lake groups to get some data to work with. Now, I am going to play for you this very short video introduction to give you some information about MyCore, and then I'll dig a little bit deeper into it.
Are you interested in Michigan's lakes and streams? Then the Michigan Clean Water Corps is for you. Track the health of your local stream through the Volunteer Stream Monitoring Program. Collect aquatic insects to learn about the health of your local stream. You don't need prior knowledge to participate. Trained staff will guide you. Or get involved with a volunteer stream cleanup event to remove trash from your local waterways. If you love lakes, the Cooperative Lakes Monitoring Program is for you. Monitor the health of your lake by looking at a variety of features, including water quality, invasive species, plants, and nearshore habitat. MyCore is brought to you by the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, with support from Michigan State University Extension, the Huron River Watershed Council, and Michigan Lakes and Streams Association. We invite you to join us at mycore.net.
All right, so that's just a little introduction of the program to give you an idea of what is involved there. And like I said, because this is particularly a talk about lake health and monitoring, I'll go into a little bit more detail about CLMP and what we do there and why you should get involved. Okay, so CLMP is we have a database of data that goes back to the 1970s. So there are some lakes who have data that dates back quite a bit. And the type of data that is collected comes from volunteers like you who go out onto their lake and collect this data and report it back to the MyCore program for analysis, and then also kind of for safekeeping. All of this data is available on the MyCore website. As a teacher, even I had talked to other teachers about how we could use that data for for analysis and for teaching experience for students to look at data, for real data that was taken from the field or from a lake that they particularly loved. So some of the basic water quality parameters that the MyCore program looks at, or the CLMP program looks at, is Secedis transparency, total phosphorus spring and summer, score the shore, lakeshore habitat assessment, and the exotic aquatic plant watch. Those are the basic ones, and then you can go even more advanced by taking chlorophyll, dissolved oxygen readings, and aquatic plant mapping. Now, the way this program is set up is that it's volunteer. You get all the training that you need for free. You get support from the MyCore team while you're doing the monitoring, and there is a little bit of a fee for the materials. And MLSA employs a wonderful lady, Jean Roth, and her email address is down there. She is the administrator of the CLMP program, and she gets everyone set up with everything that they need to enroll in the program and to conduct the monitoring. So, we provide everything you need to make sure that you have all the data that you would like to have about your lake. So this is something to look into. The enrollment is not yet open because we had that hiatus here and we're starting a new contract. We took this opportunity to completely revamp the database and also the enrollment process. And so that is going to be open very soon. We're just waiting for the tech department of MSU to give us the go-ahead to start enrollment. But we do have a training date. The training date is going to be Thursday, April 29th. That's the day before the MLSA virtual conference. The training will be virtual as well. I should mention that. So if this is something that you're interested in, I would definitely save that date because you will need to do the training in order to enroll in the program. And I'm going to, as you can see, I highlighted the Score the Shore here. I'm going to highlight that a little bit more because we are talking about shorelines, and this is a Shoreline Symposium. So Score the Shore is the parameter, I think, of most interest. The other ones are very important, and it's all connected, right? If you're using best management practices, you are going to have better water quality. And you're going to be able to see that. If you're a volunteer and you're out there monitoring year after year, you're going to be able to see changes and improvement if people are using best management practices on your lake to support the water quality. So Score the Shore is one way to take an inventory of the shorelines around your lake. And the benefit of this is that you can identify places of need, so where there's greatest need for the best management practices that would help to increase your water quality. So to give you a little bit of understanding about this, I'm going to tell you about another program. But there is a relationship between the way that the vegetation looks and has been kept on the shoreline. That relationship with the water, there is a correlation between well kept shorelines and water quality. So when I say well kept, I don't mean necessarily attractive. I mean that the shorelines are have natural vegetation, and there is a good green belt, a buffer that helps to keep runoff out of the lake, that helps with habitat for the ecosystem. All of that goes hand in hand with the water quality. So that's why Score the Shore is one of the parameters for the CLMP program, because it does have something to do with the health of your lake and the water quality. Another program you can take a look at that relates to shorelines is the Michigan Shoreland Stewards program, part of the Michigan Natural Shoreline Partnership. MLSA is part of this partnership, and I would encourage you to take a look at this. You can register your lake association. So remember I said how important it is to have an organization. So if you have a lake association, you can register the lake association, and you can encourage people to take an assessment for their property. And if you're here as an individual property owner, this is something you can do for yourself. You take an assessment, you get a rating for your shoreland, and some suggestions for how you can improve your particular shoreland in order to improve the health of your lake. And, you know, as an incentive, there are signs that you can purchase. MLSA actually is where you would purchase those signs, and I ship them to you so that you can put up a sign, because, you know, if you're doing good things for your lake, you should be proud of that, and you can celebrate that with a sign and encourage your neighbors to do the same by having that sign in your yard. So that's something that you could do as well, way to kind of celebrate your achievements in protecting your lake. All right, and along with the Michigan Shoreland Stewards program, there's some really good printed materials. And this is something that some lakes have found helpful, is to have printed materials, especially to give out to new homeowners, people who are new on the lake. Maybe they don't really know what would be the best thing to do for their lakeshore. Maybe they don't know what the best management practices are. You know, that native vegetation is important, that mowing to the lakeshore is going to cause runoff from your lawn to go straight into the lake without being filtered, that native vegetation will help with habitat for native species. Fish like the native vegetation and the near shore areas, and reptiles will also enjoy that vegetation. So, you know, there are materials that you can take a look at, that you can share with other people, that would help you to see some of the benefits and the need for some real care at the lakeshore. You know, I know that on my own lake, a lot of times, you know, people worry about erosion. They worry about the property being eroded into the water, and that becomes a very it becomes sort of a fear, like this fear of losing part of your property. And we've actually found personally, we've had a natural shoreline for about 10 years now, and we found personally that actually those plants rooting into the soil and holding on to that soil actually helps with the erosion a lot more than installing a riprap or a some sort of concrete seawall. We have seen some positive results from the way that we manage the shoreline. So what these materials do is they help you to have sort of a visual aid to show people what positive things can come out of that. And the Shoreline Living booklet is it's actually something that the Van Buren Conservation District was involved in. And there's some really beautiful images taken by a great photographer, and that would be a really nice thing for you to share with people around your lake, to give them some inspiration for creating a natural shoreline on their property. And the Michigan Shoreland Stewards Program Guide gives you a little bit of information about that, the Shoreland Stewards Program. You can find all of this online. In fact, these are, again, if you you can find the Shoreland Living booklet online. You can find the Shoreland Stewards Program Guide online. Those things are available to you. But what I'm offering to you today, for those of you on this call with me, if you contact me, I would be happy to send you some copies of these for your group. So if you have some new homeowners, you have some people you think might be interested, you can have these things on hand to hand out to them. I know that we absolutely employ this tactic on Gravel Lake. My husband is actually he's an avid supporter of natural shorelines, we'll call him that. And he always has some materials on hand. And anytime someone mentions the idea of, oh, you know, we may need a seawall, he tries to help kind of coach them away from that to help with the water quality, because, you know, the water quality is paramount when you are a lakefront property owner. Okay, so I have a couple of other things to share with you, and I realize that I've gone through this pretty quickly, so I'm hoping that you have lots of questions for me. Michigan Lakes and Streams Association has a virtual conference coming up on Friday, April 30th. You can visit our website for details. I've just updated it. There's going to be speakers talking about the Edenville Dam failure and some things that they learned from that experience. We're going to have a riparian rights update because you know, as waterfront property owners, there's quite a bit of legal pieces that go along with that, and insurance for lake associations session, and some other ones, one about a special assessment district, which I mentioned special assessment districts before, and also some other sessions that are still in the works, but we do have some great sessions at that conference as well. And I also have my contact information so that you can get a hold of me, talk with me offline, you know, ask me about what we do and what we can do for you, subscribe to the magazine and our monthly newsletter, follow us on social media, things like that. So that's my general presentation. And I'm really hoping, I see some questions in the chat, so I'm hoping that we have some discussion maybe that we can have based on what you all are interested in.
So right now it looks like a lot of chatting, but no specific questions. At the very beginning, somebody asked if there would be a PDF presentation available, and yep, that will be. So that was answered.
Okay, good. And I see that Nora shared the Shoreline Living booklet, which is great. Oh, I see a question just came in about seawalls. What can you do about a lake that is all seawalls? That's a really great question. So it's not the end of the world if there are already seawalls established. So, you know, as those seawalls start to need repair, you know, we often will encourage people not to repair them. And some things you can put into place before that happens, before the seawalls actually start to, you know, kind of give way, is those plantings can still happen. So you can still have a natural shoreline behind the seawall, because that's still going to offer you buffer from runoff. Those native plants have deeper roots, and that, you know, rainwater coming through the grass, which does not really sink in very, very quickly, will get absorbed by some of those native plants. And that's a really great way to stop runoff, even if you do have a seawall. And you can also put emergent plants in the water. Now, if you're going to do that, anything that's done in the water needs a permit. So you do need to make sure you do that. And I know that this group is having a session on laws and permits for shoreline. So I know that they will be addressing that in the future. But if you do things that are within the water line, then you need to make sure that you have a permit. But you can plant on either side of your seawall. You can put rocks in to sort of soften your seawall. So part of the problem with seawalls is that they are this stark line. And so the waves come and then they kind of scour the bottom, and it doesn't really help to stop the wave action. You can put riprap in front of that. So that would be boulders and larger rocks that would help to soften some of that. Obviously, the rocks are also not the ideal, but it would be better than the concrete seawall for sure. So there are things that can be done. Okay, I see some other.
Yeah, and then so she mentioned that the laws and permits, that will be the last webinar session, which is the 22nd, Monday the 22nd. And then there was a question on designed lakes. There isn't a session in this conference about it, but is there a way that, do you know of a way design lakes can network with each other compared to one that has a natural outlet?
You know, I actually do get a lot of questions from lakes that are designed, or I would assume, or I would imagine that designed lakes would have a lot in common with even gravel pit lakes, or, you know, former quarries that were made into lakes, or man-made lakes of all kinds. So I would say that what I would say about that is that we could get a group of people together who live on those types of lakes specifically. I think that there's a difference in riparian rights from natural lakes to man-made lakes. But I think that a lot of this sort of water quality work would be similar. You'd still be able to do some of the water quality monitoring that the CLMP program provides and things like that.
Okay. Is it challenging to start a lake association when the lake shoreline is split between two townships? Does that make a difference in starting an association?
You know, I don't think so. We have quite a few lakes who are in different townships. We even have lakes who are in different counties, lakes that have different counties. And I think that it can still be done. Lake associations are not governed by the county. A lake board, maybe it may be a little bit more complicated, but that can also be done. If that is something, like if you're currently on a lake that does not have a lake association and you're looking for some specific like steps that you can take to make a lake association, that might be something that we can talk about offline, because it depends upon what you're looking for. There's different kinds of lake associations. There are voluntary lake associations where people choose to pay dues into the lake association. There are mandatory lake associations, which is more like a homeowners association, where you would pay into that group like you would for a condo association or something like that. So it really depends upon what type of lake association or group you're looking into, and what you want to accomplish. That's important too.
Okay. Can you please briefly explain the history of CLMP monitoring funding and how the new contract will be more sustainable?
I would be happy to do that, Paul. Thank you for asking. So in the past, the funding for CLMP was based on something that Governor Granholm put into place. And then as things have happened in the legislature, that money is no longer used for CLMP. So right now, there is a funding source that goes to Eagle. And Paul, now my brain has stopped and I can't remember the name of it. There is a funding source for CLMP, and also there was another additional line item that was put into the budget for MyCore and CLMP funding. So so the contract we have right now with Eagle is for 5 years. And within that 5 years, we have already started talking about plans to ensure that the funding for the program will continue. So, you know, we're not going to rest on 5 years. We're going to make sure that we continue to work and fight for that that funding before it even, you know, comes up in the end.
Okay, and then I'll jump to this one because it's kind of related. What are the expected costs for CLMP training materials?
Okay, that's a really good. The training itself is free, so the training does not have a cost. What you pay for is, let's see if I can go back to the. What you pay for is materials. So on the MyCore website, got my chat box in the way here. Become a volunteer, and then it kind of gives you a breakdown. And this is the 2019 season, just for a reference so that you can see. Here, it says 2019 program fees and deadlines. So SECI transparency enrollment is $30, and spring and summer phosphorus is $30 a piece. Score the Shore is $30. So there is a enrollment cost to it, and you know the advanced ones you can see are a little bit more. And then the equipment is also there's also a cost for that. So your lake would need to purchase a SECI disc, but then you only need to purchase that once because the SECI disc will last for a long time. And there's going to be testing equipment for chlorophyll sampling, and then you can see here it says chlorophyll replacement filters and vials. So there's a cost. It's a smaller one after your initial equipment. So there is some cost to it, but the training itself is free.
Okay. Next question. The invasive Phragmites on my lake are under control, but the lower lake level this fall and likely spring makes me worry there will be a resurgence of Phragmites where there was none for several years. What are your thoughts on this matter?
The lower lake levels this fall and spring. I don't know, Fallon, do you have any thoughts on the invasive Phragmites in particular?
So you are correct that sometimes higher lake levels do kind of control their populations. That is a control method. If you had a seed bank of Phragmites, it is possible that it would come back again. If the seeds are still viable there. But I guess depending on where your lake is, maybe contact me or Nor if you start to see it this spring and go from there, possibly. So
yeah, I don't know that the lake levels, I mean, right now, I mean, we're really at an all-time high for lake levels. I mean, there has been a slight dip, but it's still not back to where it would normally get to at this time of year. The lakes are still all very high. The water table in general is just very high. So,
yeah, I've heard more of the opposite too, that people are seeing less Phragmites because their lakes are going up. So interesting that yours is lower.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, when we've dealt with Phragmites on our lake, it's something you have to keep a careful eye on. Once you've found it, you have to check and make sure that it's not coming back every year, even if you think you've treated it, because it's, you know, that's the thing with invasive species. They can grow so easily.
Again, this presentation will be available for everyone to see again. It's recorded and it'll be on the Stewardship Network's YouTube channel, so you can watch it again. Are there any grants for lakefront owners to help improve their shorelines?
You know, I wish I could tell you that there was. There was a program that we were working on in partnership with the DNR and MSU and some other people, but it fell through. If you have a large enough project, so if you can get quite a few people together and you can have hundreds of feet of shoreline that you are looking to restore, you can apply for the fisheries habitat grant through the DNR. And when you, they would be able to then help you with costs for that. But that would be something you would need to have a large area that's being restored. They don't just do individual properties. So that's what I would say about that.
Okay, then also in the chat, Nora put up contact information for all CISMA. So if you aren't in the BCK or Southwest by Southwest, it's up there for you if you have questions on any invasive, not just Phragmites. Okay, the next question, is there material you can recommend for low impact design for building access sites on streams/rivers for launching canoes/kayaks?
Oh, interesting. I don't have a lot of experience with building access sites. That's a good question. I would say if Dan, if you can send me an email, I can put you in contact with someone who might have some more information about building access sites, because that is, that's interesting. I guess I'd have some questions about that. Like, is it on your personal property? You know, because there, you know, there's always, when I think of access site, I think of like a, you know, more public use. So I would, it would depend upon where it was, I guess.
Oh, another one. When you sign up to start a new lake monitoring program, is the site for a SECI disc already determined?
Yes, they will teach you where you can do your monitoring. So that is all. In fact, if you're curious about this, like I said, I will share my presentation. You can go to the MyCore website, and there is training materials on here that you can take a look at. They've already got 2021 training that was not there before, so that's good. So you can see here is, it shows you how to register for the training. It shows you what the schedule is going to be for the training. And then there's materials down here that you can take a look at. So if you're curious about SECI disc, there is SECI disc training information in here. And you can go through and take a look at, here's the history of the program, the goals, and then this would tell you a little bit more about how to do, or you know, what it's for and how to do it. But I will tell you that it's really important that you attend the actual training. Even though it's virtual, it's important that you go to the training. Your enrollment kind of depends upon that actual training that year. So.
Okay, and then back to the access sites. It looks like Dan will email you with more on that. And then also it looks like Tom Cook with the Friends of the Shiawassee River might have information on access sites as well.
Oh,
and
perfect.
It looks like somebody just put a link.
Yeah, that's Rex. He's one of our MLSA board members. Thank you, Rex, for that, that resource there. All right, great.
That's all the questions I have.
All right, well, I want to thank everybody again for coming. I know that it went a little bit more quickly than the hour, but I do appreciate your questions and your engagement on this, and I'm happy to share this with you. Check us out, contact me. I'm happy to help. And if I can't help, then I have wonderful board members like Rex Vaughn, who steps in and is a wealth of knowledge. Rex is the guy to go to. if you're interested in lake boards, special assessment districts. He has a lot of good technical knowledge on that. And, you know, we have a good board with lots of knowledge. So we're happy to help you with your lake association questions. Other things coming up, the Glen Lake Association is having a winter water quality symposium, and they're going into some really interesting uses of technology for water quality. That is a free symposium that is going to be on Friday, February 26th. So I would encourage you to check that out. We have information for that on our website. And, you know, as more, you know, as more things come up, we're always sharing other symposiums and presentations. So check it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa, for your information. And there's a lot of thank yous in the chat as well. And now I'll pass it to Nor to have a little ending.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you all so much again for joining us for this discussion on lake health and what we can, some of the programs we can take part in to better understand and protect our lakes' water quality. We hope to see you again at the next two upcoming presentations on the 15th and the 22nd. Again, if you're registered for this, you should be registered for those events as well. So we hope to see you then. Please do feel free to share this with any of your other lake friends that may be interested, and keep an eye out for additional information and the upload on the Stewardship Network's YouTube channel. Thank you again, and have a great afternoon, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.